One of the best things in life that you could do is to have your own business. It's a sign of pride and joy and freedom that you are actually in control of your outcome, your life, your family's life, and you don't feel bound to what's happening outside of you. When you have your own business, it is a game changer unless it goes away. And this is the problem that most people have today. If you're a business owner, one of the number one things that surveys show that people are worried about is, will my business last? Do I have enough money to make this thing work, to keep it going? And people are so stressed about it. They're working so hard and they're not getting the results. And today we're going to change that. Today we're going to talk about how you can build a legacy business, the kind of business that your grandkids are going to talk about forever, something that exceeds you. So if you make an impact upfront in your business, it can make an even greater impact on other people's lives and on other people's businesses. And this is what I really want to talk to you about today. And this is why I chose this, right? Some of you might know I'm a car girl. I love cars. I grew up in Europe, like driving on the Autobahn. I owned a racing company and I love cars. They're just an amazing example of what we can do in business. And these Gullwing Mercedes, classics, right? You might remember the Gullwing doors and other things like the DeLorean, right? But that's a classic car. It's timeless. Do you guys know how much you can buy a Gullwing Mercedes for? You can find them right now between $3 and $6 million. Think of the car that you drive today. Do you think down the road that could be worth $3 or $6 million? Maybe, maybe not, right? Think of your business down the road. How long would it take for your business to be a 3, 6, 10, 20, $100 million company? I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. But you have to change your mindset a little bit, okay? You have to think differently if you want a legacy business. So as we get started, let me know that you can see me, that you can hear me, that everything is working, because we come here live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. And I want to make sure that you are here as well. If you want a replay, if you're going to miss some of this, ask for the replay. Just type #replay. My team will get it to you. And if you need some help building a legacy business, then I am here to help you as well. All right. So let's talk about this. And I want to really look at this question for you. How and how long do you want to be remembered? That's really what we're talking about with a legacy business, right? How and how long do you want to be remembered? What do you want to be known for? Are you just building your business because you need some cash right now? And I heard the other day someone said, I don't want to talk to people. I just want to have everything automated. I don't know that that's a business. That's not going to be a legacy business. That's not a Gullwing type of legacy business, right? You want to have something that's completely disruptive, right? So this is why I chose this theme, to help you really visualize what you're trying to do here, right? This car is stunningly beautiful, isn't it? Even in today's era, right? I would rather go on and ride in something like this that's from the 1930s and the 50s rather than a brand new Lamborghini any day of the week. Just letting you guys know, it's not always the brand new shiny thing. It's the classics, right? And I'll tell you a really quick story. It's a little bit personal, but years ago, I was dating a gentleman who was the heir to one of the wealthiest families in that state. And on our first date, we go into the garage, and he lived in a high rise. And so there's a multi-level garage platform there. And he had all his cars on one whole level. He had that many cars. He had one full level of the garage for all his cars. And so he said, well, pick which car you want to go on a date with. He had all the new things, right? He even did the pick which watch I should wear, all those kind of things. Actually, a really, really amazingly lovely man. who passed far too soon. But what I picked, what do you guys think I picked? There were Ferraris, Lambos, there were all kinds of things. I picked a classic racing BMW. I just thought the lines were amazing. It like melted his heart. He's like, oh my God, you're the only one who's ever picked something like that. You get it, right? So I'm talking to you about how do you build a business that can last and be that kind of classic piece that goes on forever. But look at this. This is stunning. The lines are stunning. There's a lot of thought and detail into it, right? And look at the old one and the new one. Like it's so classic. It's so legendary that they can repeat it 50, 100 years later and it still is amazing. Okay. Can your business do that? Can it last the test of time? Look at this. Okay. These are legacy vehicles. You don't even have to see the whole piece of the car to know exactly what it is, right? You can distinguish the Ferrari from the Lambo, from the Rolls, from the Koenigsegg and the Beamer and the Mercedes and the Porsche, just by seeing a little piece of it, okay? And so the question is, in your business, if someone just saw a little piece of what you do, can they recognize it? Like, oh yeah, that's like Connie's business, or that's Susie's business, or that's Bill's business. You can tell that's their style, right? That's what you're trying to build. This is the year of the brand, okay? So you need to have something that becomes a legacy and a classic. Now, you saw those parts of the car, but let's take a look at the actual logo. Think about your logo. What is your logo? Think about your website. What is on your website? What's the header? What's the headline on your website? Is it all about you? Okay. Do you have a recognizable brand that could turn into a legacy? You guys know these. I crossed off all the names in case you didn't know, right? Just by seeing that logo, you can tell exactly which company it is. Why? Because they built an amazing legacy brand. Now, let me have you take a look at this. Okay. Can you tell me which 4 vehicles are here? Which ones are these? Can you tell me, like, hey, it's an R. What one is that? There's a lion. These are all animal ones. Okay. I just picked that. Why don't you know which ones they are? Right? They've been around a long time, but they're not a legacy brand. They didn't do anything to secure in your mind, this is that thing. This is the thing that's aspirational. I, at some point, want to be this. They did not build an iconic brand. Okay. So they're not building legacy businesses, and often they get bought out by other companies. So here's the question. What are you doing? Okay. You could have something like this, right? That's an absolute classic. It's stunning. It's beautiful. It's disruptive. It's a head turner. People remember it. They know it. It doesn't matter how old it is. It doesn't matter how long it's been around, right? Imagine what your product and your service or your program or your course or whatever you offer, could it be around for 10, 20, 50 years and still be 100% applicable? Or here's the problem. Is this how you treat your business? Is this what's happening in your business? That you just let something that could be an amazing legacy business go to waste and fall apart and rust, and you're not giving it the care and attention that it needs. So there comes a point, right? There comes a point where it becomes obvious that you now need to change, right? Everybody may be going in one direction, but you realize you have to start going in a different direction. You have to start thinking different about your business, not just copycat, not just get something to go buy. Oh, I'll do a course, or oh, I'll do this, or oh, I'll get on YouTube and that's what everyone's doing, or I'll get on TikTok. Build a business, not a project. This is so important. And it matters a lot to me. I'm very passionate about this because I believe that everyone should be able to scale their business to 7 figures. And that's what we teach. It's going from 6 figures to 7 figures in 1 year or less without any of the stress or struggle or overwhelm that most people have. And so how do you do that? How do you do a 7-figure business? And it's really interesting. So I teach a workshop every Tuesday morning, as well as coming here at night. And I'm always saying, who is a $1 million business? Who is a $1 million business? And it's very, very rare. But when I say who wants one, all hands go up. Okay. So let me show you how to get your hand up all the time. You know, something has to change. It's become obvious, right? So now here is the question. What do you have right now? Who owns whom? Are you a business owner where you own the business, you're in charge, it's a self-led, self-run company? Or are you self-employed? You're doing all the grunt work. You're doing the calls, you're doing the sales, you're doing the delivery, the fulfillment, you're doing the marketing, you're doing the advertising. Are you doing everything? You're like, no, I have a VA. But are you spending all your time trying to control them? Okay. You are self-employed. You're not a business owner. Okay. The business owns you, or you own the business. It's really clear. And you guys know the stats, right? Businesses always fail. Well, here's what's interesting. 67% of Inc. 5,000 companies, they make it to the Inc. 5,000, woohoo, and they fail at the 5-year mark, 67% of them. And companies that don't make it on the Inc. 5,000, only 48% of those fail in 5 years. This is a really interesting stat. I want you to understand this. In 5 years, the companies that work so hard to grow, 67% of them fail, right? The companies that weren't trying so hard for growth didn't fail as much. And you know who failed the least is franchises, right? 85% of franchises after 5 years are still in business. What does all that tell you? Does it tell you to go get a franchise? No, not necessarily. You might lose your identity and not be able to do your own thing, but it could be awesome for you. But what it does say is that so many people are trying to grow and get real big. To what cost, right? You've seen it in the last few years. People that were at the height, they have all these Comma Club awards, Where are they today? They disappeared because they built a project. They built a fad business, not a forever business. And so when you look at that, okay, out of 33 million small businesses, and just talking small businesses, only 2.7 of them earn over $1 million. That's 0.4% of all businesses, 333 million businesses in the world. Okay. Because at that point, up until $1 million, those are the 4 things you're focused on. You're focused on marketing, you're focused on sales, fulfillment, and hiring. That's what you're trying to do to get to $1 million business. Make sense? Is that where you guys are? Do you feel that, right? Like, I got to do more marketing, or I got to do my content, or I need more leads. I got to bring some people on, right? Those are the main things up until $1 million. But $1 million, just hitting that 7-figure mark, is not going to make you a legacy business. You're going to need to keep going beyond that. And that's what I want to show you today. How do you do it really simply? Okay. And so what I want you to know is, first, what won't work. Okay. I'll tell you what will work, but let me tell you what doesn't work. So if you're doing these things, you can stop. This is what we call the cube, right? And we do everything in business in a cube, and everything can be as simple as 4 simple steps. Okay. So which quadrant are you in, and where are you? Okay. So, one of the things that won't work, right? Think of a cube, right? The W3, right? That's a part of the cube, is mass procurement. This happens a lot when people are getting going, like, I need to buy this, and I need to get this, and I need to do this, and I need to add this, right? But you can't spend your way to the top. Okay. So if you're all about that, like, hey, I'm just getting started and I should do this and this and this and this, it won't work. Okay. So don't try to think this is a method that you can grow. Okay. So, but what can you do? Okay. We're talking about what doesn't work, but let's go also look at the next thing that doesn't work. Okay. Don't overspend. Don't try to optimize, right? Minimize your tools. If you're trying to add in everything and go to everything and be everywhere, it just won't work for you. Okay. So keep in mind that you're trying to be distinguished. You're not trying to be everything. You're trying to build a legacy business, right? Okay. So we know that mass procurement isn't going to work. Trying to buy everything is not going to do the trick. So let's look at the next thing. Okay. After that, give me a second here. You got to minimize your tools. And the next thing is people. Yes, you need the right people, but some people are hiring too early. They're trying to just get a whole bunch of people on so they don't have to do any of the work. Well, guess what? That doesn't work, because you might actually have broken systems and you might try to bring on good people, but what you're trying to do is trying to hire all these operators before you even have an operating system. Okay. And that doesn't work. So if you think, oh, I'll just get good people, I'll stick them in and they'll figure it all out, that doesn't work either. It's not going to build a legacy business. So the other things is the power plays. Like, this is a high stakes game. Okay. What moves can you make? You have to think about what are the moves that you make to go ahead and scale up your business. And so don't put the chicken before the egg. Okay. You also have to watch out for your productivity system. So some people are so focused on their systems and their systems. I got to do all my systems right. And I got to set up this productivity and this productivity. And then I have to do this. And you have too many things going on. So in order to soar, you want to remember you have to do less, not more. And the fourth thing that you have to do and pay attention to not do anymore is you got to let go of the past. What got you here, maybe just to 6 figures, is not going to get you to 7 figures. All right. So those are the 4 things you have to stop doing if you want a legacy business. So let's take a look at what it really takes. I'm trying to help you kind of do the mindset shift, right? I want you to go from a startup mentality into a scale up mentality. Okay. So how do we do that? And I want you to understand this first. It's going to cost money. Okay. This is not, you can't get to the top being cheap. All right. You will have to spend money. So let's take a look. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to outline the 3 steps that you have to do to build a legacy business. And it is so easy. Okay. So number 1, you've got to get clear on where you're going. Okay. And how are you going to do it? Guess what the first thing people do? They think, okay, great. I got to figure this out. What are my goals? I want to make $1 million. I want to make 2 million. I want to make 10 million in 3 years, whatever. Okay. And they start with this goal, but they don't know what it is comprised of. So how do you know you're going to hit your goals if you don't even know what it takes, what you're going to have to do? Okay. So before you think you have to set the goal first, you don't. When we work with people, we don't ever ask for their goals first. Okay. We actually set things up. Okay. So people go, I just want to automate it all. Well, you're going to automate your actions, but you really need to visually map out where you're going. Okay. And so here's the key. You need a framework to make the game work. Okay. So you're going to need to have to outline this and design it out before you even set the goal, because you have to know what your process is, right? Remember, I said this is going to take money, but if you don't know the process, you don't know how much you're going to need to spend. So what we always like to say here is don't speed in a school zone. What that means is this is your learning period, and you can go fast when you get out of the learning lane. Okay. But a lot of people are trying to speed right through everything in the beginning, and you're still trying to put your pieces together, and it won't work. Okay. You will get a ticket. You will get in jail if you're trying to speed in that learning zone. Okay. So when we're looking at this, what's the chief driver? Okay, in that first step, you're getting clear. What is the number one thing that's going to drive your business forward? You have to know that. What is your one solution? You need one thing, one singular product, one singular offer, one singular solution. That is your chief driver. Do not have multiples. Don't say, oh, I do this and I have a podcast and I have a show and I have a course and I do a retreat and I have an online subscription. Okay, it's not going to work. It is absolutely not going to work. You must know your chief driver. When we had the racing company, right? We had a chief driver. We did have backup drivers, but all of our energy, all of our money, all of our attention went into the chief driver. And you must know what is the number one thing that's going to drive your business, and just one. If you have more than one, please book a call with me and I will tell you which thing to eliminate or put up on the shelf until that thing makes $1 million. Take one thing, make $1 million, and then do it again, because then you're successful. If you try to do one thing and it makes 20,000, this makes 30,000, this makes 50,000, this makes 200,000, you have 5 things, 5 ways that you have proven you don't know how to run $1 million business, right? So one thing, $1 million. That's the strategy. Okay. Then at that point, you set goals last. Okay. And set them big. Don't make little wimpy goals. I want to make 100,000. I want to make 200,000. Go big. Just go huge. Okay. Pick anything you want. It will drive you. Okay. There's nothing wrong with having great stuff. That's why it's invented. Okay. Buying great stuff employs a lot of people, right? Having a big business employs a lot of people. Don't be shy about wealth. Okay. Go get it. Go spread it out there, right? That's the best way to heal the economy is make a whole bunch of money, use it up. This is not a strategy. Don't think that you can just flip a coin. Okay, that was heads. Okay, let me try it again. Now it's tails. No, that is not a strategy. If you need a strategy, book a legacy call. Okay, and we'll show you exactly the 4 steps you need to do in your specific business to build a legacy business. All right, all you have to do is go to callconnie.com. Okay, now step 2. All right, I told you 3 steps. Step 2 is you've got to adjust your position. Okay, I want you to forget about status quo. Think about this. When you're in your car, right, you have all the little adjustments on your door, right, and on the seat and the thing and the mirrors are the perfect way. And it all, you hit a button and everything is super cush. It's super comfy, right? You're like, that's my button. And then you have different buttons depending on who's driving, right? And what do? You always go to your button, to your specific comfort zone. But when you're growing a business and you're trying to scale and you're trying to build a legacy business, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to shift your position. You're going to have to shift what you do. You shift your position in the marketplace. In order to get to the top to be a legacy business, you're going to have to fight to be the GOAT, right? You're going to have to do things that are not necessarily comfortable for a season or 2. If you're trying to have harmony, and balance with your life and your family and your kids and that's not going to build a legacy business. There's seasons. You balance the seasons, not every day. Okay, if you want a multi-million dollar legacy business. Okay, so I'm being really honest with you guys today. I just want you to realize that it'll work. It's so much easier going from 6 to 7 figures than it is from 0 to 6 figures. It's 80% easier going from about 250 to $1 million than it is from 6 figures to 250. Okay, so just understand, if you just do it, it will work. Okay, the problem is you might not have a strategy, right? You might be looking at all these data pieces, but you have to value insight, meaning who's been there before, who already knows this is how you do it, this is how you build it, this is what it takes. Or are you just looking at numbers? Okay, or are you so in your comfort zone, like you got into your business, you put the button, that's the place I go, that's the thing I do, yeah, but I've always done it this way. Always doing it this way will always keep you going backwards, because you can't be still. You're either going forward or going backward. And if you're realizing the numbers are down on my business, or we're talking with someone today who said, yeah, I always do live events, but live events aren't working anymore. The numbers are going down. It's not universal. Numbers are huge for live events. I highly encourage you to go live. If you need some help with that, let us know. Just again, go to callconnie.com. My team will hook you up with free resources or a call. But it's not the industry, it's the driver. Okay, you got stuck in a comfort zone and you have to adjust your position. So I hope that makes sense for you. Okay, so this is the time when you're trying to disrupt, and you've got to set up your business so it's starting to get a foundation. This is where you're going to systemize things, your decision making, right? What are the decisions you make about the culture of your company as a legacy company? What about the competitors? Who are you trying to beat? I'm going to do a show next week exactly how you outshine your competitors. Who's the clientele you're going for this legacy brand, and how is the company going to be known? How are you going to systemize all of those things? And then how are you going to systemize the communication methods within your company so this can grow seamlessly? And so what you want to do, these are the 4 main meetings you want to have as far as communication goes, right? If you're feeling I'm doing too many meetings and it's just they're horrible and nothing ever happens, these are the only 4 you need. You need one big vision meeting. Like, this is our vision over the next 3 years. This is how we're going to become a legacy company in 3 years. I always say, if you're in business 3 years and you can't make $1 million, there's something wrong with your strategy. And then you're going to have quarterly meetings. We call these quadrants, right? And then the monthly meeting, and then the weekly. That's all you have to do. Okay. So if you can systemize this, it's very easy because you've got that big vision of that legacy company that you're building. Okay. Remember, you're building something that will last, that you can pass on. You can ease the life of anybody. You talk about generational wealth, talk about a generational business. And so in that process, what are your red letter values, right? What do you stand for? And this is very important. Sometimes you will see that we have behind us our manifesto, right? What are the things that you stand for? What does your brand stand for? Right here, like we showed you like different brands, right? This is actually our family brand. Okay. This goes back to 1600 something. And this is our family crest. Okay. And it gets passed on year after year after year after year, from one generation to the next. And if you look at our iconic brands in our logo for our business, it's actually modeled after this. Okay. So it's something that carries on. So are you doing that? This is what I talk about. What are the values that you hold? Like our family had certain kind of stance in the community and the values we upheld. What are you doing for your business, right? You think about it, and you think about like the Gullwing Mercedes. Mercedes has a certain brand and a certain values, right? You know, it's luxury and it's high end, and that's what they stand for. You can have a legacy, lower valued product, right? But still a legacy. But even if it's tennis shoes, look at Nike tennis shoes, right? You can buy tennis shoes for thousands of dollars. Tennis shoes, it's crazy, right? You know, it only costs them like $3 to make. But they built a brand that people will continue to buy forever and forever. I'm a big Adidas fan, right? I love the whole story of the German brands. And you look at Adidas and Puma and the big fight, right, between those two and which one became great. And some brands will go out of favor for a minute, then they'll come back and they'll be huge. So how are you going to do that? That's where you really look at the legacy part of it, as well as policies and procedures, you know, the boring stuff that you have to do to make sure everything works. So when you build all these steps out and all these systems so you can track everything, where do you park it, right? You've made a simple system, okay? Kind of like a dashboard with all these things. And the question is, where do you put it? Where do you house this amazing legacy vehicle? Think about this, right? Where does your vehicle go? In the garage, right? But the question is, how does your garage look right now? Okay, if this is more like what your garage looks like, we got some work to do. We should talk about this a little bit, okay? Because if you're trying to build a legacy business and you don't know where to have all your systems and policies and procedures and rules and everything, it's not going to work. You're going to be so stressed out. You know how that is, where sometimes you just have stuff everywhere because you don't have a place to put it. You don't have a place to house it. So with your vehicle, your business, you don't have a way to put everything nice and neatly away. So you know where everything is at any moment. You can disappear for 6 months, a year, and somebody can actually just go to the shelf and do this and do this. That's a legacy business. Okay. But again, if this is your business and it looks like this, how do you know? When I used to buy a lot of properties, I knew it was going to be a challenge when all the cars are in the driveway, especially if it's a 3-car garage. Okay. You wouldn't believe how many hoarder houses I bought. Okay. They had a big problem. I solved the problem. So this is the question, right? This is where you've got to make the choice. Do you want to go your way, figure it out, windy road, or do you want us to show you exactly how to set up a legacy business? And if you do, just go book a call, callkoni.com. That's a legacy call. And you might be on that crossroads, right? It's where you need to switch tracks because you realize if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to just get more and more overwhelmed. You're going to be in that procurement problem where you just keep doing more and more, but nothing changes. All right. You have more on your plate and more that you never get done. So here's step 3. Now that you've adjusted to get everything ready. You've got all things outlined. You've cleaned out your garage. Now you've got to gauge how fast can you grow. And this is where you're going to actually start keeping these scorecards. Okay. And this is the fun part, because isn't it fun to look at your bank account like, wow, I have more money in there. Next day, wow, I have more money. Next day, wow, I have more money. That's what you're looking to do. So how much tread do you have left on those tires? Okay. Think about your business. How long have you been in business? Put it down in the comments. How long have you had your business? Okay. And how long can you keep going on this? How long can you keep doing this at this pace? At this pace, will you eventually go bald? Will your tires go bald, right? Will you wear them out? Where's your spare? What is the opportunity? Where can you pivot, right? That's your spare. How can you pivot? But you don't have 4 spares. You only have 1, right? And usually what is that spare? It's a donut. It's like half the size of what you need. It's never really going to take you to that destination. So sometimes you just have to retread everything. You just have to say, this process isn't working. It's complicated, it's bulky, it's slow, it's old. And what you need is a done for you dashboard where you can see everything, a super clean garage, right? You could eat off the floor, where you know exactly what's going to happen at all times. You know what brings you value, right? It's called the value engine. Why would people buy from you? How do you dominate this market? Because you bring more value than anybody else. Okay. So look at your engine. This is literally my car. Okay. How clean is your engine? Is it really pristine? Or have you let it go a little bit, right? Have you missed some of the maintenance and things like that? So, or maybe you've got the thing where lights keep popping up on your dashboard and you aren't paying attention to those. So this is where you think, where am I going to get value? Where am I going to deliver value? How am I going to grow? How am I going to fulfill this? And how can I be innovative? That's how you have to think about building a legacy company. So once you have the internals, this is the external, right? This is the thing that moves it forward. And if you don't have a great way to fulfill and have people stay, our clients are staying over 5 years. Why? Because we're delivering value. Okay. They want what we build, an iconic business. So in the end, I want you to build with love, okay? Build something you love. I promise you, building something that is just to make money will not last. I love my businesses and I pour love into it. When you pour love into something, guess what? You get it back. Okay. What you put out, you get back. So build it with love. Find something that you love. But just because it's a passion doesn't mean it should be your business. But whatever your business is, find a way to love it. And one of the ways is to eliminate all the things that are slowing you down, eliminate all the things that make you an also ran, eliminate all the things that make you just like everybody else and not stand out and not special and make you very little money. Okay. But build with love, start with baby steps. Let me help you with those baby steps so you can go from from crawl to walk to run. And if you're ready to climb to the top, just call me. Okay. I'll show you in 10 minutes exactly what you need to do in 10 minutes. I can't sell you anything. So book a call, callkoni.com, take you to the top, and then you can build a legacy business. That's the only kind of business you should be building. So let me know in the comments, did you like this? Are you ready to buy a classic car? Are you ready to upgrade your vehicle and build a legacy business so that you only have to build one business ever? That's what it's all about. I will see you guys next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Have a great week.